Hey guys, I'm back with another video. This is gonna be a really long one. I can tell you that now for a fact. But I only recently just came across this case and it really just it just touched me. It happened a while ago, unfortunately, but I wish I found out more about it at the time it was happening. But anyway, waffle. I hope you guys have had a good day. And yeah, hopefully today I'm gonna be able to get my makeup completely done. Because last time, as you know, I didn't finish it. Let me just get all my stuff out. Before I get started on my case today, I would just like to give a disclaimer that by making this video, I am in no way, shape, or form trying to benefit or take advantage from this case that I'm about to cover. These are real things that have happened to real people. I believe it's just important to inform and educate people on serious matters and issues that happen in our world every day. It is beneficial to increase general awareness for everybody. As always with a murder case, I will only be sharing facts and things that I know to be true while sharing my own personal opinion, restraining from conspiracy theories. It's important to stick to the truth to avoid harm or upset to those involved, out of respect to the families of the victims, and to serve justice to the victims themselves. Everything I'm about to share with you today is information I have simply found on the internet. That was a mouthful, but it's important to say. Now let's get into it. Right, so before I get into this case, I would just like to warn you all that it is very sad. I guess any murder case is really sad, but it's just the way it's been left and the unfortunate circumstances that we are now left with today. It really is really sad. This is the case of Shanquella Robinson. And Shanquella Robinson was born on the 9th of January 1997 to her parents Salamandra and Bernard Robinson, and she was only 25 years old when she passed. Her family described her as a very loving and caring person. They say that she would never dish her a soul. And she was from North Carolina. She went to Winston-Salem State University and she studied business. And after leaving university, she went on to own two very successful businesses. She had a women's clothing line, a boutique sort of thing, and she was also a kids braider, which I think is so cute. And I also think it just really reflects who she is as a person. You're braiding kids' hair. I just think it's adorable. In October 2022, Shanquella and her friends decided to go on a trip to Cabo in Mexico. For vacation, holiday, whatever you want to call it. And it was going to be her and 6 of her friends. And their names were Khalil Cook, Malik St. Patrick Dyer, Winter Essence Donovan, Alyssa Michelle Hyatt, Dejanay Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins. This group of people are now referred to as the Cabo 6. So I don't know if I refer to them as that in the story. We'll see what clicks. We'll see what feels right. So yeah, they planned on going to Los Cabos for vacation, and this trip was basically going to be really expensive. It was really expensive, is what I'm trying to say. And I guess in a group of 7 of them, obviously they were able to split the price and stuff, but they hired a private chef and plus drinks and food and everything. The overall price was gonna be it was very expensive. Basically, I don't remember the exact number, but it was a very expensive trip. So just remember this: none of them were exactly strapped for cash or broke or anything. They were pretty secure, including Shanquella. She was very successful in those businesses that she ran. Oh, why can't you speak? So they stayed in a very nice villa called Villa Linda 32. And this villa had, I think it had 5 bedrooms, but it could sleep 12 because the beds were king size beds. It could sleep 12. It had 5.5 bathrooms. It was huge. It was gorgeous. Like when you picture like, you know, holiday abroad, whatever, like in like Mexico or any like tropical country, like, you know, it kind of like looks like the kind of villas that like influencers will go on when they do like brand trips, you know, that sort of thing. They arrived at the villa October 28th, 2022. Like all of them arrived except for this Nazir Wiggins that I mentioned earlier, part of the Six. He came a day later. And so they all arrived on the 28th of October. And according to like the friends and everyone, and according to I guess Shanquella herself, then night was like full of like lots of, you know, just fun stuff like drinking, partying, games, like, you know, fun stuff with friends, like on like holiday, like they were having a good time, I guess. And Shanquella actually called her mom Salamandra that night, and said that she was having a good time, you know, like they were about to have dinner, they were gonna eat like tacos and stuff. And her mom was like, oh, like I hope you have like a good time, like have fun, don't drink too much, whatever. And, you know, she said goodnight to her. And unfortunately for Salamandra, and she didn't know, but this would unfortunately be the last time that she spoke to her daughter, Shanquella. Hey, were you about to do your makeup? Everyone comment below how cute my belly button is out of 10. Oh my god, girl. Anyway. Anyway, a lot of what they did that night was actually documented on Shanquella's like Instagram story. So that's how we were able to like piece together what they did. But there was one really weird video that she didn't actually film herself. It was Khalil Cook, one of the people on the trip, who was also Shanquella's very close friend. Like people in her life, her family, they were very close to him. She was sort of like, they were sort of like best friends. There was a video that Khalil posted to Shanquella's Instagram story where she was literally just like passed out, drunk on a couch, and it's quite an eerie video. I'm not going to post it. I'm not gonna add it to the video, but I'm going to like show you a picture so you can understand. Like, I don't know, I just think it's a bit weird. Like, I don't know, I guess people do that sometimes, like posting videos of your friends passed out, but like, I don't know, like the nature of the video is actually very strange. But anyway, the next day comes, it's now October 29th. Hey, another thing, on October 29th, this next day, there was another video posted to Shanquella's Instagram story, and it basically just showed her, she was walking around the villa, and she was like, where y'all at? Like, it don't take too long to get naked. Like, I assumed they were gonna go skinny dipping or something, I don't know. But anyway, she's looking around the villa, she can't find any of them, and then once she finally does, they're all together in a room. And this video is very creepy. Like, you can just tell from like their body language, like it kind of looks like, I don't know, I don't want to just jump to conclusions, but it kind of looks like they're like plotting something. Like, I might insert the video, or I will just insert like an image or a clip or a snippet so you can understand what I mean, but it's very, very weird.
Oh, it don't take that long to get naked. It don't take that long to get naked, hoes. Where y'all at?
I've been in suits that I don't want to wear because it's cute as fuck.
They, what Go said, they croup.
Yeah. the one that's like mediocre is in my check-ins.
And around 2 p.m., Salamandra receives a call from Khalil. He says that Shanquella's sick, and that she has alcohol poisoning, that she's drank too much and she's not feeling well, basically. And he said that a doctor was on his way to come and help. There wasn't really much that Salamandra could do except like think, oh, like that's obviously like you wouldn't want your daughter to have alcohol poisoning, but like if her friends are helping her and there's a doctor on the way and she's all the way in North Carolina where Shanquella lives and they're in Mexico, like except just to hope that her daughter will get better, you know. The doctor like showed up within the hour, and what she saw she described as, I'm gonna read to you exactly: a female in stable condition but dehydrated, disorientated, verbally unresponsive, unable to communicate, and appearing to be intoxicated. The explanation given to the doctor was that Shanquella had drank a lot of alcohol. The doctor recommended that to the six that Shanquella be taken to the hospital, like in her condition, but they insisted no, that she had to be treated in the villa, which is weird. You see why you're gonna really understand at the end, but you see why I keep referring to them as her friends, because if your friend is sick and, you know, has alcohol poisoning, is sick, and the doctor says they need to go to the hospital, why on earth would you say, no, she should stay here? Do you want to know what their reason was to Salamandra? They said that apparently transport from the villa to the hospital was gonna be like, and like the hospital like care and everything, that everything was gonna cost $5,000 and they didn't have that kind of cash. Remember earlier how I just mentioned how they were literally not like loaded, but they were set, like they did have it, like you are on holiday in Mexico paying thousands of dollars for this trip, but you don't have some money to spare to get your friend to the hospital. I rest my case. Khalil kept Salamandra like up to date with everything that was happening, but unfortunately, shortly after that, like all that had happened, Salamandra just received a call saying that Shanquella had died of alcohol poisoning. And according to Salamandra, the call was from Khalil, and according to Salamandra, as Khalil said this, like it was very emotionless. He was just like, yeah, she's dead, like quite literally, like it was, he didn't really show much emotion, much like sadness, anything. And Salamandra obviously thought this was very strange, as she should, because Khalil was very close to their family, like not just her, like she just thought that was very careless and very weird to do, which I completely agree. That is very, very weird. Also, according to Salamandra, with everything that Khalil was keeping her like up to date with, he kind of just kept saying the same thing over and over again, like, yeah, she has alcohol poisoning, this and that, blah, 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 which she already knew. Like, I guess she thought that was weird, but she didn't think much of it at the time. Unfortunately, Shanquella has passed away. And now, instead of her friends, okay, I'm just going to refer to them as the six. So instead of the six to wait in Mexico and try and make arrangements for Shanquella's body to be brought back to the US, they packed up their bags and they left Mexico. They left Shanquella's dead body in Mexico, and they just packed and they left the villa like straight up. They just went. And the only thing that was brought back of Shanquella from the trip was her bags, which Khalil dropped off at the Robinson household, saying the same thing again. She died of alcohol poisoning. Again. Alcohol poisoning. Now, I'm gonna give you guys the doctor's report and the police report, but before I do that, I just want to let you guys know that most of this information is being highly guarded as false because of the death certificate which I will later tell you about, they contradict massively. And obviously the death certificate is like science, factual information, and the police report and doctor's report is just like the account of like witnesses, which is, it's being highly considered as false information, but I'm still gonna tell it anyway because I still think it matters when telling her story. So during the medical treatment, the doctor tried to give her like lots of CPR and administer her an IV drip. However, Shanquella's condition worsened when she suffered a tonic-clonic seizure, which is like stiffening of the body, arms and legs, as well as I can't say these words, I have to read them, a sphincter relaxation, which is when the esophagus remains contracted, which like causes in like sort of like an acid reflux sort of thing. So you like keep like, you know, around 4:13 p.m. was when this happened. So that was like an hour of the doctor's arrival. And an ambulance was called at 4:20 after Shanquella started to have trouble breathing and her pulse was dropping as well. According to the doctor's report, Shanquella suffered cardiac arrest. This is according to the doctor's account of this like story, not really there's no like document or anything that claims this to be true. Apparently, ambulance paramedics arrived at the scene at 4:19 p.m. and tried to resuscitate her, like using CPR rounds, and injected 5 doses of adrenaline into her body. And they tried to like revive her with like a defibrillator, but all of these were unsuccessful, and she was pronounced dead at 5:57 p.m. according to the doctor. So police officers Omar and David were the first ones to arrive at the scene around 5:25 p.m. When they got there, they had basically been debriefed by the doctor that medical attention was requested for a lady after she had drank too much alcohol. After Shanquella was declared dead, the police officers notified the state attorney general of Baja California Sur, which is where Los Cabos is, which reached the state attorney. I don't know if it's Julio or Julio. It's definitely not Julio, it's Julio Daniel, informing him of the death of a foreign citizen. And based on eyewitness accounts and speaking with the doctor, the police report concluded that a deceased person had died of alcohol poisoning and that she had died 2 hours and 45 minutes after the doctor had been called to the residence. According to the police report and the doctor's report, there were no external signs of like any injuries. Like apparently like she was fine. But again, I tell you, this information it's pretty much false. Like, yeah. But I'm telling you anyway, so that you have all the pieces of information and maybe you can try and guess what happened. But at the end of the day, we cannot know for sure. So please just remember that all of this is just alleged. Because of that initial report, the U.S. State Department initially released a statement which said that Mexican authorities said that there was no clear evidence Shanquella was murdered. So they concluded it was an alcohol poisoning because of this initial report. But however, soon after, the autopsy and the death certificate came out on November 5th. An English translation of it came out based on an autopsy report from a forensic doctor, and it was dated November 4th, but it came out on November 5th, the English version, because the doctor was from Mexico. You get the gist. The autopsy report said that Shanquella had died 15 minutes after suffering a severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is like basically that she broke her neck, like kind of like the top portion of her neck, like here, was like disconnected from the rest of her body. And on the death certificate, it also said that the time of death was 3 p.m. and the time between the injury and the death was 15 minutes. So you see why I say that all that doctor's report, all that information is actually being highly guarded as false, because the death certificate, which tells us everything, tells us that she died at 3 p.m. and the doctor claims that when upon her arrival at 3:15 she was still alive. Anyway, now I'm just gonna give you some more details and let you know what happened in the days following her death. So the Monday after Shanquella's death, Bernard, Shanquella's dad, tried to call the resort or the villa multiple times to try and make arrangements for like her body to be brought back and just find out more about what happened, you know, because obviously the friends were not being very helpful. All they were just telling him was that she died of alcohol poisoning and they left her. Like, it was obviously just a very rough situation and he needed to find out more. He was placed on the phone with a woman in management, but it took him days to find somebody who was able to speak English, which I personally think is very weird. And because surely, like, he should be able to find somebody that's able to speak English at that resort that they stayed at. Like, why did it take him so long? It really makes you question, like, what was happening? Like, did they know something that they didn't want him to know? Like, I don't know. It took him days to be able to find somebody who could actually speak English. And when he did, this woman told him that Shanquella did actually not die of alcohol poisoning, but she died from breaking her neck. And according to Bernard and Salamandra, this was the first time that they felt like somebody was actually telling them the truth about what happened to their daughter. Yo. Guys! Bro! No way that just happened to me right now. I'm in a state of shock. I forgot how, like, this blush just, like, explodes, bro. What the hell? That was horrible. Anyway, as I was saying, before that horrible thing happened to me, in an interview with ABC, Salamandra said that she received an anonymous call saying that her daughter and the six had gotten into a fight that night. With all the information that Salamandra and Bernard were getting, like, just trying to imagine how they felt. Like, nothing was adding up. They knew that they weren't being told the truth. Somebody wasn't telling the truth, and that something was weird. Also, remember that friend who I told you about, Nazir, who arrived a day late? He claims that from the moment that he got to the villa, that he didn't leave her side, basically, that he stuck with her. And specifically, he said that he actually took her, like, to a quiet room, like, while he, like, pats her head and, like, rubbed her head and gave her words of encouragement. Now, remember that thing I just said about him patting her head. Remember it, because it's important. He arrived at 3:30 p.m. and that when he arrived, Shanquella was still alive and conscious. But it was obvious that, you know, she had drank too much, and the others informed him of the alcohol poisoning. Now, some time has gone by and it's now November 15th. And on November 15th, a video has now started surfacing around the internet. And in this video, you can see one of the girls on the trip named Dejanay viciously and brutally attacking Shanquella whilst she's literally, like, naked and apparently drunk. But anyway, in this video, you can just see Shanquella being beaten and, like, kicked and, like, literally just, like, bruised everything. And this video, like, at least 2 people were filming this video. And you can just hear Khalil in the back saying, oh, like, Shanquella, you're not gonna fight back? Like, you're not even gonna fight back well? And she was like, no. Because as I had already mentioned before, like, she was a very nice person. That was what her family said. And she just wouldn't fight anybody. She was like, no, I'm not fighting back. Her alleged friends are just in the room watching all this happening and recording. Like, I'm sorry, what? Your friend is being literally beaten up, attacked. She's drunk, she's vulnerable, and you're videoing it and she's not even clothed. Like, you know, it's very, very weird. Obviously the video is censored and I haven't even been able to watch the whole thing, and I don't plan on doing that because I think it's just awful. I didn't really plan on putting eyeshadow on. I kind of just did it and I'm not really a fan. Maybe once I do the other eye I'll be a fan, you know. So after this, Shanquella's family begged the police to finally take the case more seriously and realize that this was actually a murder and she did not just die of alcohol poisoning. And obviously after receiving this evidence and everything, plus with the death certificate, they began to take the investigation more seriously. So now obviously I've just been giving you all this information and I haven't really told you much about like the family's actual doubts, and so I'm gonna get into that now. So Salamandra also told CBS News in an interview that when she had been told that Shanquella had alcohol poisoning, it really surprised her because they told her this before any doctors had arrived on the scene. So like, how would they know for sure that that was what she had, you know? So she was a bit shocked by that. She also thought it was very weird, the $5,000 thing, because everybody knows that healthcare in Mexico is way cheaper than it is in the USA. I mean, I guess maybe not everybody knows, but it's like, it's known knowledge. Like, everybody in America knows that anyway. Like, healthcare in Mexico is super cheap and affordable, and it's actually very good. And during another interview with Queen City News, she also said that her daughter's body showed very obvious signs of trauma. She actually, to be specific, she had a knot on her head, like her hair. So remember what I was telling you about Nazir patting her head? She had a knot on her head, a bruised face, a swollen eye, and a busted lip after it was sent back to America on November 12th, ahead of Shanquella's funeral, which was a very beautiful service that happened on November 19th. It really should not have happened. It's honestly really, really sad and devastating that that had to be the outcome. Like, a parent should never have to bury their child, and it's honestly really sad. Hey guys, it's me. I'm editing, and literally trust me to always forget literally one of the most important pieces of info to the case. But I'm working on it. It's been less this video, you see. But anyway, another thing that Salamandra also found weird was that each of the friends had a different story of what happened to Shanquella, like how they found her unconscious and how they realized that she had alcohol poisoning. Some said that they saw her like passed out in the bed. Others said that it was the maid that found her in the bathroom. Another said that she had been found on the floor, and another said that she had been found in a chair. So another thing, or things that just really, really didn't make sense at all. I have some more details about the actual police investigation. So on November 16th, after the release of the video, Mexican authorities reopened their investigation into the case. So they were saying this case was a possible femicide, and you're probably thinking, oh my god, what is that? Or maybe you've heard of it, I don't know. I was thinking, what is that when I heard of it? And I'm pretty sure you can guess from the word homicide. It's basically murdering a woman because she is a woman. So Mexico, along with I think 16 other countries, are the only countries who have like made this a specific crime. Although the charges for femicide are literally the same as homicide because it's murder, it is just a specific crime, and it is one of the most intense forms of gender discrimination. And under federal law in Mexico, you can serve 60 years in prison for femicide. Sorry guys, my eyeliner is really not cooperating right now, but like, it's okay. So this confirmed that the authorities had revisited the crime scene, so Villa Linda, 32, to try and collect more evidence and such as to what exactly happened. And on November 18th, the FBI, so like America, confirmed the opening of the investigation finally. A spokesperson also said that their investigation is completely separate from Mexico, and they are not, she said, I'm not privy to anything they're doing. And on November 25th, an arrest warrant was issued for Shanquella's murder. This case was also a very complicated one because it happened across state lines. Like, they were US citizens, but this murder happened in Mexico. So in order for the arrest to carry forward, there are a few things that needed to be done first. This is really actually quite complicated, but I'm gonna do my best to explain it to you, even though I don't fully understand it myself. Now, because the potential suspects, the Cabo 6, are all US citizens, the US does have the right to prosecute them, although it happened in Mexico. However, the Mexican authorities also have equal rights to prosecute them, but the US has no right to like hand over their case and evidence to Mexico. You understand? Now, in order for the prosecution to go forward though, the US as well as America will kind of have to like sort of join forces, kind of, in a sense. So like the Mexican authorities, they will have to hand over all of their evidence and findings to the US. Then Mexican authorities would have to submit a request for the person involved in Shanquella's death to be arrested in the US. You understand? Like, to be taken into arrest in the US, because they're obviously not in Mexico anymore. The request would then have to be evaluated by the US, and once the departments decide that the evidence and findings are sufficient, then a warrant would then be issued and the person would be placed under arrest. So as you know, the warrant was granted, but it was never actually issued. Like, they're two different things. I hope you understand the difference. Like, let me explain. Let me explain. So the Mexican authorities gave a warrant, like, you can do this, but they didn't actually place the person under arrest. That's all the difference is, really. A hearing would then be held where like all evidence would be presented and, you know, faced by a judge. If the judge deems that this evidence is, you know, sufficient and everything, then the person would be arrested and serve their sentence in Mexico. So forgot that was there. Anyway, so obviously it's a very long and lengthy process, but that would be what would need to happen. However, I'm actually very sad to tell you guys. Unfortunately, on April 12th of this year, the US government announced that they will not be filing any charges. Apparently, quote, this is what they said, they do not have enough evidence available to prosecute anyone. When there was a literal video of Dejanay Jackson beating this girl. I don't know. To me, this case doesn't make a lot of sense, and it actually makes me really upset to talk about because there are just so many things that do not add up here, and it's really, really sad. Like, I cannot imagine how their family must feel, especially knowing that they haven't really got justice for her. They didn't get to the bottom of what happened to her, and it just makes me so upset. Like, I cannot imagine anything like that happening to anybody in my family or like anybody close to me. Like, it's a really, really, really devastating case, honestly, and I don't know, it makes me quite sad that they just decided to drop it. And this is the thing that tends to happen with the murder and death of like people of color. It never really seems to go anywhere, and it's really, really sad. I'll be so real. And the police just, they don't give us the justice that we deserve. Like, personally, this case made me very upset. I'm sure you guys are very confused as well, very upset. Like, this isn't how it should have ended, you know. This should have never happened to her, and her family should at least have the peace of knowing what happened to their daughter, because they just don't know. Anyway, this was a long one. I've been filming for an hour. I don't really know how long this video is going to be once I cut it, but this has been a long one. But I still think it was a very important case, and I just had to make a video about it as soon as I heard. But anyways, I think I'm not just going to be making these kind of videos. Obviously, I am going to be making these kind of videos, but I also want to do other things. So any suggestions that you guys have, please just comment and just let me know, or send me a DM on Instagram or something. I will reply. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really, really hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.